Hello and welcome back to another Walking Dead video, and today will be my death predictions for the final episode of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol Season 2. Because I think this final episode is going to be a big one, and I really want to do some death predictions because every episode since by episode 2 we have had a character death, and that is good and bad. And I think going to this final episode we are definitely going to get more character deaths. So let's jump right into this with Daryl and Carol. They are 100% safe. Their names are in the title. Now LaRon, maybe halfway through the season I would have put LaRon on maybe dying, but I'm now going to believe LaRon is going to survive. However, we haven't seen him film anything for season 3 yet, so I think LaRon is going to survive, but the season will end with LaRon deciding to stay behind in France and to be that leader that everyone needs. Maybe once all the leaders and all the villains have been taken out, LaRon will step up, and I think LaRon could become the future leader or be the symbol to unify France under one group. And I think that is the destiny of LaRon, so he's going to survive, but we will not see him in season 3. Now for Lou, I originally was putting for Lou on to die, however because we know LaRon is staying behind, I think Lou will stay behind as well. We knew he wasn't going to come back anyway, because we haven't seen him in season 3 yet, but I think Lou will be the guardian for LaRon, so Lou has to survive or else LaRon has no one to look after him, because he's only about 12, 13 years old, so Lou is also safe. Now Caudron, and I definitely do believe he is going to die. He's going to be the big death for the heroes, and I think he's going to sacrifice himself to save LaRon and Daryl and that group. We've seen him in the trailers shooting while the plane's taking off, so I think Caudron is going to die probably about halfway through the episode, and he will just have a big sacrifice, and he'll finish his little character arc he's going through. And that'll be the end of Caudron's story. He doesn't really have any point to stick around or have him survive because you have Lou. Caudron will just be there. So I think Caudron is probably going to be the big death in this final episode. And talking about deaths, definitely Ash. Because if he survives, it's just going to be a headache. And something the writers are just going to have to work their way around constantly. They cannot keep him around just because if he has a plane, they can fly home. We know what they're trying to do with the Daryl Dixon. They want to keep Carol and Daryl in Europe for as long as possible. You can't have a character with these skills and a plane around in the story. They could get rid of the plane, but if he finds another plane, they can fly back. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to take off, they're going to have to crash, and Ash is going to be injured. Or even bit and die. I do not see Ash surviving this season because it's just going to be a headache for the writers in the future seasons when they're like, oh, season 6, Daryl and Carol are still in Europe and Ash is still there. They have to get rid of Ash just to make it easier to tell the stories that they want to tell. Now, the smaller characters like Anna, if she's in this episode, 100% safe. I doubt she'll be in this episode. Her story was pretty good in episode 5. She was just a nice little side character. But if she's in this episode, 100% safe. Now, moving on to the villains. Jinta and Sabina, they are both going to have to die. This is the final episode. We know that season 3 and 4 are a different story altogether. They can't carry over these villains. Especially if what I think is going to happen with LaRon and Lou taking over the group to unify France. You can have these characters around. So Jinta and Sabina both have to die. And if the Doctor's in this episode, he's kind of really been in maybe 1 or 2 scenes this season so far. If he's in this episode, or if he has not been killed off screen, he would die or not even be seen again. Because they could easily just not show him again. But the big villains, they're both going to die. And that is what I think is going to happen. I think that definitely the big deaths that weren't guaranteed, like the villains are guaranteed, are going to be Ash and Caudron. And they're going to do something interesting with LaRon. But this is just my thoughts and opinions, so please tell me down below, what do you think? What are your predictions for this final episode? I'd like to know all your thoughts down in the comments. But this is it for me today, so goodbye, peace out, and I'll talk to you later.